Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Pretty good. And there's Art. Your microphone's up above your head again, Art.
Okay, thank you.
Now we can hear you.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I still see we still have the little code after our names.
oh, I don't.
You don't?
No, no, they're gone. There was an update, well, I did an update yesterday.
Oh, so there's been an update since our last meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have not.
So you've
I
still got the
update
codes.
and I've got codes on all three of us. You and
Yeah.
Steve are 180 at dash one, and I'm at 360 dash one.
Well, I also noticed that when I upload the video and watch the video back, the codes weren't there. So
Yeah.
whatever the codes are, they're for our eyes, not everybody else's eyes.
Okay. Well,
They're probably for the testing team, whoever was doing the testing. But
yeah, my guess is you're right. But at any rate,
yeah, not
so
not a big deal.
so what's on or what's happened in the last week?
Um, Patty went on vacation, so
Oh
that
yeah,
that's been fun.
she went on vacation.
Yeah. She has see, she has enough seniority for I think 3 weeks worth of vacation,
Mm-hmm.
but uh they do 1 week and then you get maybe it's a week and a half and then a week and a half. I'm not sure how that works. You basically get two vacations, but you get your full time off.
Okay.
If that does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So she's been here and driving me nuts.
oh okay. Well,
But
that's what you got to look forward to when you both are officially retired.
yeah.
You have to learn to live in the same house with both of you there at the same time.
Oh, it's not horrible. It's just can we go here? Can we do this? Can we do that? And I'm like, didn't you promise me that we didn't have to do anything?
Well,
Uh, so and then I
oh,
went
there's Barry.
I went over to Ray's yesterday and got some extruded
Oh, cool.
aluminum pieces.
Aluminium pieces. Oh,
Aluminum.
yeah.
Uh, and I think they're going to work, but I'm going to need to. I would have thought that somebody would have come up with a design for to mount Lego parts to these things, but I can't find anybody that's done it.
Hmm.
So I'm going to have to take a couple of Lego pieces and a couple of the extruder pieces and mix them together and come up with something.
Well, maybe you can patent a new product.
Wow. But I think that's going to be a real nice mount.
Uh-huh.
Nice steady.
Yeah, well, that should be rigid enough, that's for sure.
Yeah, something that once it's locked in place, it isn't going to move. And then all I have to do is mount the battery in the controller and let it go. But and then oh, I didn't pull the part out. The 128 tooth gear that I printed, that I was printing last week.
Yeah.
Turns out it's bigger than the wheel. The wheel that it's supposed to fit on.
Okay.
Oh, so I've got to come up with something else, some other 2-to-1 gear ratio thing. But the fun of a 3-hour print only to find out, oh, it's significantly bigger than the wheel.
Yeah.
Um, but speaking of 3D prints, I found a new profile for the Cobra, and I tried it, and it's a really, really nice, except that it failed. The print actually ended up failing right near the top, but you probably can't tell, but there is almost no layer lines in that.
Huh.
And that's on, you know, a FDM printer. So to get almost no layer lines is pretty impressive. That it slowed the printer down to an hour and 49 minutes from a 45-minute print or a 49-minute print to an hour and 45 minutes with almost no layer lines. So I don't know if you can hear or not. I've got the old printer going because I found a profile for it that significantly slowed it down. The Benchy boat is a 4-hour print.
Okay.
And from what I can see as it's printing, there are no layer lines. It's rather amazing. So I guessing if you get a design you really like and you need a finished product, slow the printer way down and change the profile so that it makes the layer lines a whole lot closer. Oh, what what we got, Barry? What's going on?
So I don't know if anybody's looked at the Mini Macs lately, but Apple has proprietarized their internal SSD hard drives. And that guy has redesigned them and made a better version, and it's about a fourth of the price.
I'm surprised. Apple usually doesn't go down in price.
Well, they're not. It's a third party vendor recreated their
Okay.
proprietary chip and redesigned it and made it better layout, and it actually sped the hard drive up.
Okay.
And then they're like $170 instead of 800. So I thought you guys might find it interesting. It's a pretty interesting video of what all they did and how they redesigned the chip.
Okay. I knew or I had heard that Mac had gone back to prior proprietary stuff, but I didn't know anybody had cracked their code. So
Well, that was one of the things they discussed that's kind of different too, is this so um they used their chips and spun the chip around and laid it out better so that it actually got rid of a lot of interference. But the Apple has like a 12 layer board, which is crazily expensive, and they managed to dupe it in like a 6 layer board.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not as advanced, but to go any higher than that, they said the price goes up, gets crazier. But like I said, they go into it and all they did and explain, it's really interesting if you're into chip design stuff at all. or just to see how what they did to the drive to access the NANDs and make it faster. It's like I said, it's a pretty good little 14-minute video. Thought you guys would appreciate it.
Okay. I will watch it as soon as we're off air.
What's this about resetting system clocks in Windows?
That's one that hit us today at work,
Uh,
actually yesterday. So Windows doesn't really trust its own clock, and it compares its clock against other clocks. And one of the places it gets time signals from is in certificates for secure websites.
okay.
So if
Oh,
a website is way far off, your Windows AD server can reset its clock and make all of its Kerberos tickets disappear, or at least not be valid. That's a big thing when you're
That's
talking about a big company.
that's priceless.
It's been an issue since 2016. It's still an issue.
Gotta love Bill.
that yeah, that's something not right about that. Yeah. Uh, um,
So, Steve, does this make your job easier or more difficult?
Really didn't affect my job. Um, just lots of Windows boxes that couldn't authenticate. Users couldn't log in. It was interesting. Luckily, I do most of my stuff at work through a Linux box.
you're getting a bunch of phone calls. Why isn't it doing this? And then you have to Google the problem, figure out why it's not doing something.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I'd say half of my job is Googling. There is a great website, LMGFY, I think. Let me Google that for you.
Huh?
And you can send people a short link, and it comes up and it looks like a Google screen, but it says, let me Google that for you. And it clicks on the search now and types in the question and clicks search. I've done that to a few people. Many of them do not appreciate it.
The AI's in my computer. I don't want it. I I spent a little time past couple of days going through all my platform IO programs, and I had almost 8 gigs worth of programs that flat out did not work. That at some point I was testing for various microcontrollers or whatever, and these programs just didn't work, and I just left them on the hard drive, and I went, oh, great. Useless programs taking up space.
Well, fortunately, space is pretty cheap these days.
Yeah, there's plenty of it, but it's still eight almost 8 gigs worth of stuff. And of course I back all that up to like a Git repository. And most of those only give you 10 gigs of free space to start with. So I was wasting space there more than I was wasting
Okay.
space on my computer. I just was like, wow, why didn't I just delete this stuff in the first place?
Well, you save it so it's just in case.
Yeah, one day I'm going to figure out why that didn't work. That day never comes. I did. There were a couple of programs that over the years that I've been messing with Platform IO, I have learned something here and there, and I went, oh, I can fix that. I know what the problem is with that one. So I did actually fix a couple of them, but most of them, it's kind of weird. The the programs work in the Arduino IDE, or they'll work with Platform IO and they won't work with Arduino. But it's kind of weird. It has weird things about the screens. Like, I'm not real sure why you could use the identical program and it works just fine in one, but it doesn't work in the other. So it's just weird. But that's what I've been doing.
If you look at the version of Zoom you're using, what version are you using?
I click on
I
this.
forgot how to do that.
You click on you go back to the Zoom workplace screen. You click on the your name or your initials, and then help and about Zoom. And I am on 6.4.1 parentheses 587.
Okay. All right, I'm just downloading it now.
So we went and signed the lease today.
The lease?
Yeah, our lease is up in June, so they usually have us sign a new lease a couple months in advance. So we went and did that. And that's really all we've done this week is sit around, watch TV, play some video games, and hear that she wants to go shopping.
Oh, gee.
But it's been a good week. We've done pretty good.
Progress.
Not letting me start the video.
How come I got two of you, Leroy?
Well, I was going to walk over with my phone to the 3D printer so you could get an idea about what this was doing, but it won't let me start the video for some reason. On the phone.
Oh, while you figure that out, I have a question. Anybody good with starters?
In a car?
Well, a Kubota.
Yeah,
Same
that's a
difference.
car. It's an orange car. It can't be too much wrong with it. What's it doing?
Well, so it's like when you go to crank it, so we had problems with some of the wiring. I replaced like the battery positive terminal cable to it, and um, redid one of the ends too on something else. And anyhow, it worked for like 3 days, and now it's like speed clicking when you try to start it.
Hmm.
Like it goes click, 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 click.
Loose wire on the solenoid.
Well, there isn't. There's only the um battery terminal post, and then like the funky plug. It's the only other thing I can think is just to cut the plug off and rewire it.
I've got stuff for working on just about any kind of plug you can think of.
Yeah. Well, so I just finished cleaning it. I took the starter out. I just was wondering if it was a starter and took it uptown and they checked it and said it was fine. So everything in the book says at this point that it's the battery, but I kind of still I don't I mean the battery's only like 4 months old.
Check
So
the
I don't
voltage
That's
know.
on the battery.
It's like 12.9 or something.
Yeah,
that's a
I'd
little
put it.
low.
Yeah, I'd put a charger on it for a while, a trickle charger overnight or something. I'll be right back.
Yep. Aren't most car batteries about 14 volts, even though they're a 12 volt
That's been
system?
my experience. Yeah.
Well, it's not a car. It's a one of those little mini like motorcycle or moped little battery. But
Huh. But it's a 12 volt battery.
yeah,
Yeah, I would expect it to be up around 14.
Yeah, I would have thought that it would have been closer to 14. What's the when it charges, what does it say it's charging it to?
I, dude, I got like an ancient thing. I couldn't tell you what it reads.
It's one of those.
Yeah, it's got a bouncy bar and it's in the green. That's all I could really tell you.
Oh, high precision.
Yeah.
I have a crappy Harbor Freight charger that is surprisingly good. Um, Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah. I have a Harbor Freight multimeter. I wouldn't trust it with a
Um, Depends on which one. They've got some that are pretty nice.
the like buck 99.
Oh no, no.
The red one.
Yeah. I said I have a
The
crap.
free one that they give you for walking into the store.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got two or three. I got one that's even cheaper than that one, and I was testing all those battery cells for the Prius because I sold some of them off, and I busted out the Craftsman. And it was like a 2 volt difference between what the Harbor Freight multimeter was saying versus the Craftsman. I was like, yeah, that's a pretty serious difference on a 7 volt battery.
Yeah, that definitely is.
I I got a bunch of those red meters, and I have found that if the 9 volt battery that's inside of them is weak, then they don't work real well.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Numbers mean nothing at that point.
Yeah.
So I got a red one and a yellow one from the out of the electronic stuff from the guy down the street. And yeah, I don't like either one of them. But I don't know if I really trust my Craftsman too much either because it the it's a digital display. It goes all over the place when nothing's touching anything. That drives me absolutely bonkers. Especially like if you go to do like continuity stuff, it takes like 10 seconds to figure out because the numbers just go all over the place.
I checked the internal battery on that one. It may be,
Old.
yeah.
Never really
This
thought about that.
the digital multimeters, if they've got weak batteries, they do weird stuff.
You use a precision current source as a reference. And if the battery voltage isn't enough to drive that,
It
then
fluctuates.
nothing matters. This
Uh,
thing, this is a CM610. Oh, that's awful. Hold on. Let me turn that off. Um,
Plus, I hated to pass on the flukes,
Still
but
don't.
I really didn't think I could afford to pay for what all the kind of stuff he had, and I don't know what she ended up getting for it. I should have probably went ahead and got it because she probably sold it for like nothing. But she gave me so much other stuff, and I was like, ah.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
We're still sitting on a couple $1,000 worth of ammo.
I've always liked flukes. That's what we used when I was in the service. It's what we used when I was in vocational school. They've
Yeah.
always been really good.
Well, they are, but they're also not cheap, and that's why I knew what it was worth. And like I said, I don't know what she ended up doing with it, or if she even got rid of it. But I kind of really wanted it. She offered it to me, and I asked me what
Hmm.
I wanted to pay, and I'm like, oh, because I knew they're like it was like a $600 fluke. And I'm like, I ain't gonna spend $600 on one. Probably end up selling it to somebody for 50, and I'd be like, yeah,
So this thing was about $50. It does everything. I've had a couple of flukes. This does everything every fluke I've ever had does.
yeah.
Plus, it measures inrush current, logs it, and it's DC current as well. So
Hmm.
this is, and again, this was pretty cheap from Harbor Freight. I hate to push Harbor Freight, but they do have some things that are pretty sweet.
Nice. Yeah. Their impact driver air
Yeah.
things are crazy nice. I watched a video. They outperform the freaking Snap on now. It's like, that's insane. And they're like a fourth of the price.
I take it this is real time, Leroy?
Yep. It's sitting there. It has been running for 2.5 hours and it's at 72%. So it might
Okay.
actually beat the 4 hour mark, but
Not by much.
Not by much. The slicer said 4 hours, and it's going to be close.
Hey, my data recovery drive says 9 more days to go.
I don't I don't know how well the video is actually showing that, but in person there are almost no layer lines. So it's just pretty amazing to me that it does as well as it does.
So Barry, on your Kubota, uh, check and clean all the wiring connections. If you've got an oscilloscope, put it on the battery and measure and capture what it does when you hit the starter. If the voltage drops down to, I don't know, 10 volts while the starter's engaged, then yeah, your battery's the issue.
I say I got my multimeter will do that, but I can't hold those and crank the key at the same time. So probably try to finagle somebody to do that here after a bit.
Yeah, I can help you with that.
As I just
But
grab dad or something after dinner.
the fix for that is this set of clips.
Well, yeah. Longer wires.
Longer wires with alligators on the end.
Yep.
Yeah, I need some nice stuff. That's what really ticked me off about checking the starter. I tried to use some. I had like a old headset, whether stereo plug or whatever, and I guess it wouldn't carry enough voltage to check the starter. But I don't know if it's got an internal relay or how that works to engage the thing, but it just clicked. But when I took it up to the guy uptown, he just hot wired it and it fired right up. So I was like, well, it's not that.
You want to check the connectors in between. These are the disassembly tools for out of focus for just about everything automotive. This does Molex stuff. It's got all of the European waterproof connectors. I I haven't come across anything. I just got like 4 sets of these. I haven't come across anything that I haven't been able to disassemble. And for old Molex stuff, if you happen to need to work on IDE connectors and solar, and I got what, 6 different sets of crimpers for lots of stuff.
Yeah, I make RJ45 and RJ11, and then I got those little or I don't know, the crimper things for the red, blue, and yellow or whatever.
Oh yeah, the gummies.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of thought about cutting off the connector and stick one of those on and see if that'd help. But the cable is so short, and I really don't want to shrink it down any further than it already is.
Crimper for RS-232 pins. Everybody needs that anymore.
Heck yeah. You can come over and wire my security cameras.
You have serial security cameras?
Oh, probably.
And this is an interesting one. This is a 4-jaw crimper. I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like an iron cross.
The
Yeah.
DNC or something.
This will do just about anything. It has adjustable pressure and you can, I mean, it does a 4-point crimp on any tubular thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
What's the largest diameter tube it'll go over?
Um, 1/4 inch,
Okay.
5.5, 6 millimeter. Yeah, I haven't done much automotive stuff for quite a while, but keep the tools. I got a toy for the next Linux meeting.
Which is?
An open WRT1 router.
Cool.
Been wanting one of these for a while.
And what makes that router special?
It is completely open source. Schematics, software, everything.
Yeah. Has anybody ordered anything from China recently?
This router just came in today.
Uh,
I haven't.
from the post office?
Yeah.
Did you have to pay a tariff on it?
Nope.
Okay.
Not as of this morning.
Not as of yet, huh? Well, M5 has some stuff that I would like to order, but I don't want it to get held up in processing and all that. I don't so much mind paying the tariff, but I don't want it to get stuck somewhere and me having to go and try to track it down.
I was say, what are you ordering it from?
Um, well, I will probably end up ordering the stuff off of AliExpress just because it's a little easier.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
I don't think they have any issue with AliExpress, as they were really targeting Temu and the other one because they were violating the law so bad.
okay.
Okay, other than just bad taste, what was Timu doing?
They're so certain items, so certain technology stuff, like over a certain dollar amount was supposed to be tariffed, and they're not tariffing it at all.
Okay.
So, I don't know what the threshold is. It's like $600 or something. So, like, if you bought like a laser, whatever. I mean, I don't know exactly, but some dude was yiking about it the other day, and they specifically targeted what Timu, and the other one starts with an E or something because they're just flagrantly ignoring all the fees.
Well, I thought the new tariff that was imposed was supposed to apply even to the $600 limit, but the post office
Yeah, the
had
post office
had
stopped shipping everything for a while
yeah, and then they
immediately
got
because they didn't want to get in trouble. And it's like, dude, it's already in shipment. It's whoop-de-doo.
well,
Um,
but then they had such a backup, they had to let stuff go because so they started shipping again almost immediately. They stopped for like a couple of days and then they started shipping again. But then I heard that they were going to honor the $600 limit even though the new order was you pay a tariff no matter what.
Yeah. Well, and I figured pretty much anything that was ordered. So, like in the past, it's been up to the supplier. Like for example, AliExpress pay. Their price includes the tariff in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what the issues was with Temu and stuff. Um, because they were just underselling so bad that it's eating Amazon into the ground.
Yeah. Oh, I've ordered one thing from Temu one time, and it was what they said it was. It just wasn't what they
Wasn't.
said what
Yeah.
they said it was.
Somebody I was talking to the other day at a meeting was saying that the stuff they ordered, it came as a picture of it on a piece of paper.
Well,
Nice.
I got I ordered a handheld game uh, system emulator NES deal.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much as pictured. I mean, only they pictured the nicer version. I got
Yeah.
the
Not so nice one.
crappy the crappy plastic red version. Um, but then
Hey,
again, I mean, I paid $10 for the thing, so I can't complain too much when the nice version is like $60.
yeah.
It's just I was kind of thinking I was getting the nice version and I got the crappy version, but the crappy version actually was better than the nice version because it actually had real NES games on it, which clearly they didn't have a license for. So
Yeah, that's the other part. There's so much what do they
piracy.
call it? Well, yeah,
Yeah,
the violations and everything coming from Temu is just they don't
yeah,
care about patent or property rights or nothing.
yeah. And they're selling they're making you think you're getting something you're not, but you're getting what you ordered. If that makes any kind of sense.
Well, you're getting, Chinese knockoff
Yeah,
most of the time, or
Or
you're
a picture
getting
of it.
or a picture of
grayware,
it.
you know. It's coming out of the same facility. It's just not packaged in the
Yeah, well, this definitely was not packaged like the nicer version, and
yeah.
it was in the
You know,
cheapest,
it,
crappiest plastic that
it could be
you
like a
look at
pager
wrong.
too.
Yeah.
If you accept pagers from Israel.
Sure, why not?
Who was it was visiting Israel the other day and they gifted him a silver pager. I was
Mm.
like, yeah.
Ooh,
Or the knockoff ICOM radios that they were using.
I don't know if I'd accept the pager.
Oh, I'm not sure that I would accept a radio from there either. So, uh, but yeah, I mean, I got what I paid for. I just was expecting something other than what I got. Um, and it kind of made me go, yeah, Temu's more or less a scam.
Well, and that's it depends on what you're ordering. Like I said, some of the stuff you get what it is, but then like I said, they are not playing by the rules at all.
Yeah.
And
Well, my the middle kid, she likes Temu, but
well, yeah,
almost everything that she has ordered, it looks bigger in the picture, and she gets it, and it's like tiny. And it's like,
yeah,
well, stop ordering the stuff. But it's a good price. It's a good price. No, it's
yeah.
not. You're
No,
not
it's
getting
just
what you
you
want.
ordered it. Yeah,
I mean, you know, a $10 game system versus a $160 game system. I'm not going to complain too much, but I was expecting something a little nicer than cheap ass plastic.
Yeah. Well, that's I haven't been on AliExpress lately, but I would suspect that their prices have all gone up a little bit, unless they're eating some of it for now.
They haven't that I've noticed.
Yeah, they're they've still got the
I know the stickers on hard drives have gotten stupid,
yep. They
but
AliExpress still has the super deals though. You can still get in there and snag some of those deals, and they're pretty good.
yeah.
So
Well, is it the Micro Center's like price on hard drives now? Like some of them are like $700 and $800, but they're selling them for $350. So it's like that just like trying to get a sticker shock so we can be ready in case they do like a 50% tariff or what.
the they've got a 20 terabyte hard drive for 260 something dollars right now.
Who
Which
does?
Western Seagate. Seagate,
Oh, they're external.
one of their externals, yeah.
Yeah, it has like no warranty. Um, I was looking at those. I ended up buying the Pro drive for like $30 more. They had on clearance. I got the rest of them.
I I'm not a big fan of Seagate drives, but
I'm not either, and that's why I was kind of leery about getting it. But the 5-year warranty on their enterprise drive for
yeah.
$40 more, and I was like, and I'm looking around, the price is like $400 now for that size drive. I was like, yeah. If I'm gonna get them, I might as well pull the trigger. I mean, the other 3 drives I've got in the things Seagate anyway, so
Oh,
except for my SAS drives, which I have are like I got an AGST and then a Western Digital Helios or something.
all
And
my
then
all my drives are Western Digital except for one. So, and honestly, the one Seagate I've got has not given me a problem. I just don't trust it.
uh
I
I
don't like
had
it.
my last drive that failed was a Seagate, but it's been quite a few years since I've had a drive crap out.
Yeah.
Um, I've got an IBM that probably has crapped out. I haven't hooked up for a while, and I never trusted it because it knocked like a door hanger the whole time I've had it. Well, as soon as I bought it, I was like, that's not right.
That's not right. Why is it doing that?
And but it's never died. So I was like, I backed a bunch of stuff up on it and I took it out because I was just afraid of it. I don't run it as my primary drive because it, like I said, it's like kink, 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 kink the whole time it's running. But
Yeah. I
IBM's a different beast.
I mean, you know, I think I saw more Seagate drives fail when we were in the shop than any other drives, except for maybe those Bigfoot things.
Let's say Quantum, they
Yeah.
went out of business.
Manufacturers seem to stick whatever cheap drive they could find in the system, so
Yeah.
and those usually failed, but you know,
Well, that was the thing when I worked at Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They were Western Digital was supposed to come in and replace all those Quantum Bigfoot drives. And I mean, I waited and waited and waited, and I was like, when are they coming? Because I mean, I'm losing like 2 and 3 drives a week. And I was like, at the rate you guys are getting on this, it's like it ain't gonna matter. We aren't gonna have any computers left.
computers, what are those? Well,
Well, I replaced so many drives because when I started there, the guy had no idea what was wrong with them. He was brand new to IT. There was like 12 of them piled in the corner. by the end of the first month, I had like 20 of them piled in the corner because I couldn't get parts. Because how was it? Compact, I guess, was just like fighting, replacing all those stupid drives.
Yep.
And the company they used, which was OEM, was basically, was like pound salt. They owned it all and they wouldn't service them because they were trying to get rid of them. So we were like a third party vendor of a third party vendor trying to do the warranty service work on it, and it was brutal.
Well, that was more or less how we approached it too. Was we a lot of the hard drives we couldn't get warranty them to honor any kind of warranty off of it. It's like, okay, you're stuck with getting a different hard drive. but yeah, I modern drives seem like they're a whole lot more better stable.
Yeah, so it depends on the window. Because the tsunami wiped out the good manufacturers. AGST was like the best left, and then Western Digital bottom. So then it's like you don't know which ones have that spindle in them or whatever.
Yeah.
But those are the best ones left as a manufacturer. So there's a thing that tells you what the drive rate and the failure rates are, and usually there's like 2 or 3 models of Western Digital that are just horrifying, like 5%. Fail rate within, I don't know, a year and a half or something. And then there's like one model of Western Digital, and then there's but, a lot of them do all right, like you're saying. There was a lot of issues with some of the Seagates though too, because of the size factor, what they call it, the on the large drives they can't do what they say they can do. Like the large packet KN stuff, they actually scramble or something.
Mm.
There's some corny crap, like, and there's a lot of people talking about not putting the ZFS on them because they don't technically work, or they screws them up. The firmware, they have firmware problems or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you run EXT or NTFS, they're fine. They're just meh. I've never really had NTF issues in a long time, but I've had a lot of issues with EXT on a couple different things, so I'm kind of trying to get away from that. I figured part of that was my old NAS, because it was some, I don't know if it's Taiwanese knockoff thing. It wasn't, like a QNAP or something. It's always been a pile of crap. Never liked it. Or like if you grab a folder and move it, it like cross links and leaves an echo of it, and it gets all kinds of dumb trying to get files off of it because it gets caught in like an infinite loop. But I've had the same problem with one of these Seagates on my what the hell do I run? That stupid thing. Open Media Vault is leaving like echoes of the folder structure behind. It hasn't looped, it won't delete stuff I moved or deleted. So I don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
I'm real curious about that. I don't use Open Media Vault now, but I did in the past, and I never saw that happen.
Yeah. Well, so like when I got the 16 terabyte drive, I moved all the TV shows to it. There were like 12 different TV shows that didn't. I mean, they moved, they went on fine. They're on the other drive, but it left like the directory structure for that, a couple seasons of this show and a couple seasons of that show, and I think there's 2 or 3 episodes in one of the folders, and I just can't do anything to them.
Yeah,
If you,
I've seen that before. I
like
don't.
double
Yeah,
click
I don't
them, they
remember how I fixed it, but I have seen that before.
and it just worries me. Makes me like, is my drive crapping out, or is that something to do with Open Media Vault, or just something's corrupt, or what? But nah,
Enable show hidden files.
um,
Bet that'll help.
why they just show all of them or
No,
disappear
it'll
them?
show the files that Windows tries to hide from you.
Oh, well, I say this is open. Well,
Unix won't delete a folder until the folder's empty.
yeah.
When you select everything and say delete, it gets rid of all of the stuff that you see, but it doesn't get rid of the hidden files that Windows wrote there. So in Windows, tell it to show all files, show
Yeah.
system files, everything.
But
And I'll bet you find out that there's a bunch of little .desktop files sitting in there.
well, but I mean, on the Linux shell line, it should have nuked the folder.
Yep.
Well, I've done that too, and it's still there.
Hmm.
I actually I tried to clean it off to even format the suckers. I don't think I ended up ever getting it cleaned off though, all the way. So that's one of my plans is on the, just move everything to the new box and pull those drives and format them. Put them on what's the other one I was looking at running? Trying to debate whether to run oh good lord, my brain. I've got the 5600 running not Open Media Vault, not Unraid. TrueNAS. But I was kind of bouncing around whether to mess with TrueNAS or just put Neth server on it.
TrueNAS. I
I
had
like TrueNAS.
I had one of my Western Digitals. It was one of the 1 terabytes, but had it plugged into one system, copied a bunch of files to it, went and took it to another system, plugged it in, it was fine. Copied a bunch of files, came back, plugged it into the first system, and every single file had changed file permissions and was locked. And I couldn't do a damn thing to it.
Hmm.
I ended up having to format the drive. Yeah, sudo wouldn't even let me do anything to it. I don't know what happened to it.
Was it read only?
Yeah, it changed everything. I had to delete the partition, reformat, put a new partition on, reformat it, but I could only do it on the one system. The one system, it read it fine. The other system, the first system, read and wrote just fine. I plugged it into the second system, it read and wrote just fine. I plugged it back into the first system, and every single file was locked. Every single one of them. So I had to plug it back into the second system to format it to get it to
You, sir, did not eject
fix.
your device.
But I did. I have no idea what happened to it.
I was gonna say I've done that and I have hit that and I managed to fix it, but it took me a little
Yeah.
bit.
Well, I set for I know a good couple of days just going through trying to change file permissions back.
I,
And
as you say, I have a notepad file somewhere in my document folder for that particular task because it was a very hard thing to pull off because you had to like an MBR tool and go back and
yeah,
um there was a string of commands I found somewhere in some form and it fixed it. Um and like I said, I was impressed with that and I put that in a note. But I don't keep a journal, so I don't exactly know where it's at. And it's probably labeled new file. 7, 8, 9, 14, something like that.
yep,
Um,
that sounds about right.
I pasted all the commands in. I'll know it when I see it.
This is the file I'm looking for. This
Yeah.
is not the file you're looking for.
Well, that's the thing I always I've always been looking other than like spinning up a wiki like Steve always tells me to do, which I've never gotten around to. Is like I
Yep.
always wanted a nice thing to keep track of all my notey journal stuff. Like I rarely ever do it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like Evernotes or something. They're like used to be nice on what the Apple, and then they ruined it, and then
Yeah,
I don't know.
I have a uh it's a markdown website that is supposed to have all my notes and all my little tricks and whatever, and I rarely go in to actually update the stupid thing. So, but yeah, I mean, I've seen hard drives do stupid, crazy things. That one was the most frustrating though, because stuff it just completely froze the drive, but only on one system. It was the most bizarre thing I have ever seen. And what be this?
Got a few tabs open in Notepad++.
Yeah, yeah, a few. Oh man,
Well,
I had like probably 20 Chrome things open with like umpteen zillion sub tabs. And yesterday I did something that I unplugged the monitor to plug in the Mac, trying to verify this image I'm ripping or on this recovery drive, and um my left monitor is only showing me 2 Google tabs now, and I thought I lost like the other 18 windows of 400 pages, and like what the hell? But they're all on my right monitor, so I'm like, I don't understand why it's doing that, but at
but
least they're all still there.
Control-Shift-T is your friend there. Reopen closed window.
In Windows,
Yeah, works in Windows, Linux, and Mac.
does it?
Yep.
I was like, 'cause something's squirrely. Because on my bar, all I have is Chrome, my VM thing, and right now there's a Zoom box now.
I have uh I updated Brave browser the other day and restarted it like it asked and did all that fun stuff. And it lost every tab that I had open. And I'm like, oh, you piece of. It was easy enough to get back. I mean, you go to the history and you can get all that back, but I was
Yeah,
like,
I'd be really concerned I could get all mine back because, like I said, it's a lot of Windows.
yeah. But
Every once in a while, I do a bookmark all tabs.
yeah,
I was thinking of that last night. It was like, since it is over on the other window, I should go through and bookmark them all before I reboot. I kind of figured to reboot would probably just fix it, but I'm not, yeah.
oh,
God knows
Brave
what crazy Windows update or Chrome updates done to them.
on the current computer when I updated Brave, it did something to the keyring. Now it's asking for a keyring password every single time, which
Nice.
Did you enable auto login?
yeah, but I
That's
I
what
I
did it.
I had it set. I have it set not to do that. I had to actually fix that once before, and so they changed the setting or something and brought that back.
I'm getting really irked about Google, and come was it June 1st or July 1st when they turn off Manifest 2 and force you on to Manifest 3, I'm gonna not be a very happy camper anymore.
I pretty much stopped using Chrome. Well, I stopped using Chrome a couple years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. Maybe even longer than that. I started using Brave, but I've got the Google Chrome uh stuff turned on so that it works with the Google login and all that, but it's so nice not having all the ads and all that, and you don't have to configure it and you don't have to tell it to do much. And even with its weird little quirk, the past couple of updates, re-enabling the keyring and losing all the tabs, it's still a far nicer experience. But
I'm always amused when I go to YouTube and it says ad blocks, and that's it. I see a pop-up that says that I'm not allowed to use them, but then it goes away.
I haven't seen, yeah, for a month or so I was seeing those that said, you're running ad blockers or whatever. I haven't seen those in a long time. So somebody uh somebody had come up with an ad blocker that actually still lets the ads run, but they run in a hidden tab or something where you don't see them. And
That'd be fine with me.
Google's happy because the ads are technically running, but the user's happy because you don't see them.
Does Brave do that?
I'm not real sure how Brave handles YouTube ads. I
I
just
say
know I don't see them. That's all I care about. I don't see them.
Yeah.
there's a post going around about best app of the year is like YouTube Prime, and Brave responded to it at the bottom, and it says, "Yeah, you can do the same thing for free on our device, and it runs in the background if you want to watch, like if you're listening to music, and it won't stop, even if it's not your primary tab, like they do on the music stuff now.
Yeah.
Like if you're not watching it every 3 minutes, it prompts you, "Are you still watching?" If it's not your main screen.
Yeah.
That drives me bonkers because I was
See,
too lazy to create my own playlist, and I just let YouTube run through random crap.
I haven't had I haven't had an issue with uh playing videos. I haven't had an issue with playing music. I haven't had any of those issues. I mean, when Google first changed and said, showed a thing that we're going to not let you watch videos because you got an ad blocker. Yeah, I saw that for a month or so, and then Brave issued an update, and I haven't seen that since.
I say ad blocker origin.
I know Brave uses, I think they use part of that and uBlock origin and something else, but they it's all built in. It's
Yeah.
not an extension. It's
Well, this is a uBlock origin, I think might have been what it was. Anyway, whichever one is, it works phenomenally well. But
yeah.
I got hit a week and a half ago or whatever. Google tried to Google turned off all my plugins and tried to uninstall them all, and it prompted me. It's like, this is going away. We'd like to remove these devices. We've turned them off. I'm like, no, and turn them back on. Thank you. And then I went and read their stuff about what the hell was going on and learned about all that manifest version 3 crap. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like that.
Yep.
But they're going to turn off manifest 2, which is what allows plugins to view or like pre-screen where you go so they can block that crap.
Yep.
I was like, yay, so we're going to inject more viruses like Facebook.
Google losing money because people have ad blockers. Don't
Well,
put so many ads and people will watch the ads. I mean,
well, that's, got to watch 2 ads for every music video on YouTube. I'm like, no, I don't think so.
yeah, there's one video I saw somewhere. I think the video itself was 20 minutes long and it had like 6 ad breaks in it. It's like of like at least 2 ads per ad break. It's like too many ads. I
Yeah.
actually wouldn't mind, maybe one non-skippable ad and one skippable ad. Sure, no problem. But you want to put like 12 ads in a 20-minute video.
Well, I haven't watched an ad in a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't plan to add that to my curriculum. So I'm either going to stop using some of this stuff or I'm going to figure out how to plug in something like Pi-hole or supposedly there's something better out there, run as a VM and route all the crap through that.
Well, I mean, I can't really there's some quirks with Brave. Like they do kind of push the whole crypto thing, but you don't have to use it. It's not mandatory to be there. But I can't recommend it. I mean I can recommend it to as an ad blocker and a really good browser, but there are some weird quirks to it. You do have to re-enable the Google stuff to get the benefits to like the Google logins and all that stuff. So if you use Google for a lot of logins, that's something they've disabled by default. And there's a couple other little quirks to it, but it's a really good browser. I mean, if you're really wanting to get away from Chrome, it's a good browser to use. It really is. It's still based on Chrome or Chromium.
I was just say there's what's going on with Firefox.
I have no idea.
They said they were going to start selling information. Everybody tripped up and said, no, you can't do that. And they said, okay, we won't. So
I'll just say I didn't know if they were adopting a Chromium and stop messing with their own version of code or what. But
I don't think so, but maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Mozilla and Chrome. I think you need to have at least some competition because I mean if everybody went to a Chromium base,
Well, that's
there would be nobody to compete, and that would be the very definition of a monopoly.
Well, and that's the whole reason like they're calling for Google to sell off Chrome. And I was like, you understand that that's not really a viable solution, you idiots, because Google is Chrome and it, it parses, it's designed to parse their data storage repository.
Yeah,
it's like how do you separate the two?
Chrome is based on Chromium with a lot of Google extras in it. So anybody, Chromium's the open source version. Anybody can base a browser off of it and add their own stuff to it. I mean, that's exactly what Edge is. It's a Chromium based browser.
Well, it is now in version
Yes.
2.0 because
Yes.
Edge didn't work with Microsoft's own stuff.
Yes. It is now. Well,
And that always cracked me up that Edge did not support SharePoint. And it's like SharePoint's your own shit, and you didn't even check your own shit, work with your primary platform interface. You guys are stupid.
SharePoint doesn't support SharePoint.
Well, a little bit.
I hate SharePoint.
it works sometimes.
Well, I mean, worked better with Internet Explorer, but it's like they deprecated Internet Explorer before they replaced anything to work with SharePoint.
Well,
I mean, it's like, elevator up to, Division A, not talk to Division B about,
no, they don't talk to each other. Why would they?
for those of us that maintained and did a SharePoint repository, it was quite entertaining for 3 or 4 months when nothing worked with it, right?
Wonder how long that's been there.
Oh, Mike's coming in.
Or is it Julie?
Julie has a box of software she's trying to get rid of.
All right.
Oh, you're in the dark, Mike.
Yeah, I usually am. Tonight it happens to be the entire room.
What's going on? Anything new?
Oh, nothing real good. I have to go in for a CT scan for my carotid arteries. And they've already looked at them with the ultrasound and said, "Oh, we want to look closer."
Of course they do.
So they're looking for plaque.
Well, I had a stroke several years ago, you may recall, and had surgery on my neck already. And Julie and I were outside trying to get the chimney top antenna pointed to the broadcast antenna site in Cincinnati. And I was standing looking up and just about passed out. Julie, being an ex-Navy corpsman, said, "We're not having any of that. This is not right, not good. You're going to see the doctor." So we got the antenna lined up, and I got rid of the headache. But it's one of those things where we just got to pursue it a little bit more.
So what do? They rotor-rooter the carotid arteries or what?
Well, I wasn't awake last time. A friend of mine said, "Do they give you a loaner when your carotid's in the shop for repair?" And apparently they do a bypass of some sort. My understanding from the assistant surgeon is they They said, yep, good thing you had it done last time because you were like a Florida election. Piece of hanging Chad.
Oh, yes.
Flapping in the breeze there, ready to get going. So it's my understanding, and based on the looks of the incision and stuff, that they split the artery open and grab the plaque and peel it off like you would take a uh, lump biscuit off of a tray.
With a spatula?
Yeah. I like I said, I wasn't around. I didn't inquire as to what the tools were that they used. Very professional people and very, very nicely to deal with. That's all I know.
So they slit the artery lengthwise and open it up, peel the plaque out, and close it back up again.
Yep.
Okay.
And the first look in the mirror is a shocker. I I don't think they did a bad job with the incision or anything. It's not like you see electrodes sticking out of my carotid arteries and big old oversewn stitches with baling wire or twine.
I was just thinking, they Frankensteined him. Big old bolt, neck bolt sticking out.
Yeah. Um, I don't know whether you folks remember or recall the Young Frankenstein movie with Gene Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was the young lady was saying to the Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, the monster has this and this and this. And she goes, oh, he must have an enormous Schwandecker. And he pauses for a moment, not really knowing the meaning of the word, and says, well, that goes without saying. I can tell you none of that occurred.
So when's this procedure?
Say again?
When is this procedure?
Oh, I do not know whether I will have to have it. I am going in on the 8th for the CT scan. And I'm anticipating, based on the symptoms I'm having, that they and the initial ultrasound report, that they are being surgeons, they're going to want to do something.
Well, as a surgeon, everything is for cutting.
Well, I'm reminded of the old joke. What's the difference between God and a surgeon?
God doesn't
God
think he's
doesn't
a
think he's a
surgeon.
surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, these were nice people.
Wow. Hmm.
So meantime, do they have you on some kind of a blood thinner or something like that?
I have been on 81 milligrams of aspirin for several years as a blood thinner, prophylactically, just to thin
Oh,
it
so
down.
it's just a baby aspirin.
That's correct.
It's not a,
No, not rat poison or anything like that.
yeah.
Steve, what's your shirt say?
No, it's a bash script with a sleepy penguin under it,
Ah, okay.
and it's just Tux takes a nap.
What's the count for the nap?
Uh, while true.
Well, true. Um, had anything like CDOS, CDOS run DOS run? Tux gets to go to sleep. We are at 3 hours and 20 minutes. And we're doing the circles at 95%. We're at the chimney stage.
Okay.
This might actually finish in 4 hours. Got about a half hour. Got about a half hour left. It might actually finish. It's slowed way down. I've been watching it, and it slowed down even slower than it had been going. So
What's the material?
I'm just using PLA, some stuff that I had left over from some other prints. And this is really just to see how well it did. I'm not doing this for any good reason. I'm not planning on printing a bunch of stuff in really, really ultra fine mode. So
Well, you were printing last time I was in a group, a 104 and 52 gear
it was
tooth.
128 and 64 tooth. And the 128 tooth gear turned out to be bigger than my wheel.
I think
So
that just means it's a new wheel.
that's that wheel was such a pain to get right in the first place. Actually, the wheel wasn't bad. It was getting the tire for the wheel to fit correctly. I think I'm going to have to find something else that's a similar gear ratio that's just smaller. You know, I haven't explored it much because you kind of missed it. I did end up getting some extrusion, and I need to design some mounts so that I can mount the motors to the extrusion. But I think that's going to be a real stable platform. And then I'm going to put a wheel on the center so that it's a tail dragger. And that should fix the friction problem. It should fix all kinds of other issues I was having with that one. And being a better stable platform, I'll be able to mount the battery better. I'll be able to mount the controller better. Be able to mount those things better.
So I take it that will be the central trunk, and you go left and right of that for drive wheels.
Yeah, I'm thinking one on both sides. And probably something like that. And then the drive wheel would actually be here, or the wheel would be here and the gear, because I need this to go fast. This motor wants to go fast, and it doesn't really like going slow. And so that's why I was messing with the whole gear thing in the first place. It's because I don't want the wheels to necessarily go fast. But the
Yeah.
motor needs to go fast. So
I
How have
understand.
how heavy is that extrusion?
little bit of nothing. I'd say it's
I
under a
assume that's
pound.
I assume that's just anodized aluminum, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a 40 by 40?
I don't have my thing. Yes, it almost. I think it's a little shorter than that, but yes.
It's probably about a pound.
Yeah, if it I'd be surprised if it weighs a pound. Maybe a pound.
So the motors, wheel motors shouldn't have any difficulty moving around.
I would not think so. As long as everything meshes up and, all the gears work the way the gears are supposed to and can hold the actual wheels down onto the surface, I think it would be fine. But I think, that's part of the problem that I had with that other one was uh the way the Legos were. It wasn't real steady, so the one wheel would slip a little or whatever until it got a grip. And I think having something like extrusion is going to fix that problem, because that is a solid piece of metal. And believe it or not, the printer just finished. I'm impressed. So
Did it finish or crash?
nope, it finished. So 3.5 hours. So let's see if I could get this off of the print bed. Let's see if we can. Oh yeah, it came right off. You kind of feel them. You can't see them. They're can't hear them. There's a little bit of lineage in there, but
Looks pretty smooth.
a little fine grit sandpaper would take out those lines pretty well, I think. Really nice. So one little overhang problem. That's one of the better boats. For 3.5 hours, it better be a really good boat. probably can't see it. There's a little bit of an overhang issue right in the arch. And right there on
It's
the
a
back.
little ragged.
Yeah. Right in the arch of the back window, there's a little issue, but I'd say that's a fairly successful print though. And prove that printer can do some really, really fine work. So I'll bring that to the next meeting and everybody can feel it. I can feel the lines. They're so fine you can't see them. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
I'm not going to print a bunch of 3.5 hour benchies though. But,
That's what you think, says the benchies.
yeah. Patty will come in and see this and go, "Oh, it's so cute. I want one." And I'll go, I'm not
Larger.
I'm not a
What's for
printmaker."
what's for dinner?
Yeah. You make dinner, I'll make boats.
Well, here at our home, Julie makes dinner, I make dinner, but I also make man glitter, also
Man
known as
glitter.
sawdust.
I'm pretty sure that one came off of the same printer. And it doesn't have the arch problem that this one does.
So, what you're talking about, a little bit of flash around the
So there's no supports on these. And that's part of what the Benchy tests
mhm.
is how well your printer can do things that would normally need a support without
Okay.
using a support. So basically what it's kind of saying is it probably was going too slow over that. So there's a little bit of a droop. The material, once you start building layers up on the material, it starts pulling it back up into place, but you can see it where it kind of drooped down a little. And in this case it's kind of jagged. It's kind of like that. And it's on all three sides of there's two arches in a circle, and it's on all three of those arches. So this one, where it was probably going a little faster, it didn't have time to cool it off and let it droop. I think that's what it's trying to tell you. So if the two prints are if they're good prints, you're supposed to be able to connect them together like this. And well, that one fit sort of. This one printed maybe a little small. So the little storage box that's back there, the smokestack is supposed to fit into it. So if you print two of them, you're supposed to be able to interconnect them like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows that the tolerance for whatever diameter the box is correct, and whatever the diameter of the smokestack is correct. So the printer has good tolerance. And I would say that was a little tougher than it should be. So this may have printed a little bit wider than it should have. Yet it's still within the range. So
the blue material and the white material have the same thermoplastic
yeah,
behavior?
they're both PLA.
Yeah.
And that's actually gray. I know it probably looks blue, but
It looks blue to me, at least.
um they the way the Benchy was designed, though, it was designed to test a bunch of different things on your printer. Like I that printer has never been able to do it, but there's a nameplate right here on the back of the boat, and you can read it if your printer can do it. There's a little hole right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's an oval. It's not really a round hole. There's a flagpole holder. Might be easier to see the flagpole holder on the gray one. There's a flagpole holder, and that's supposed to be the size of a toothpick, so you could stick a toothpick down in it. And it's testing tolerances, it's testing all kinds of stuff. It's testing the ability to print like a diagonal, because you can see the flagpole is actually at a little angle. The roof is angled down.
Mm-hmm.
That's a test. This is the deck is angled. That's a
Mm-hmm.
test. And if you read the PDF for the Benchy, it tells you, how to correct certain issues that the Benchies would have, um, to make your printer better. It's a benchmark kind of thing. So, you know, you get a print like that and you go, okay, I'm pretty happy with that. You get a print like this, and even though it's the layer lines are a little bit further away and you can see them a little bit more, it's a better print. There's no overhangs in the arches, and there's no other weird little things, and that just to me looks like a better boat than the slow one. But it will tell you, like this one uh failed. That there's a couple of different reasons that it failed. The profile that I have found for that printer may not have been right, or the printer, which I doubt because it auto levels, or the printer wasn't as level as it could have been. I seriously doubt that was the problem for that one, but it could have been. It could also be bed adhesion. The bed could have not adhered quite right, and then when the uh, hot end came back over it, it could have just knocked it and pushed it off. But there's a bunch of little, yeah. I mean the benchies have a bunch of little tests, and they tell you a bunch of different things about how your printer is functioning.
So how long did it end up? 3.5 hours?
3.5 and some change, yeah.
And the blue one was how long?
If it came off of that printer, it probably was an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 40 minutes. That printer is not a fast printer. It's a slow printer. Um, it's an older printer, so seeing it be able to even do, something like that, or something like that is really impressive considering how old that printer is. I think that gray one came off of that printer. Yeah, that definitely came off the new printer. That came off the new printer. I don't know. I might have to go and look to see what Patty's got in her collection of Benchy boats to see if I can find. I think this one came off the new printer or the old printer. But my own opinion, the gray one's a better print than the slow one. But it proves to me that with a little effort, there's almost no layer lines to that. So if you wanted to do some really detailed stuff, you could. You just have to put supports where you'd need them. The it could point out where your hot end may not be hot enough and that kind of stuff as well. So you can get in there and tinker with the G code and change settings too. So did you ever get your enders to go any faster, Mr. Steve?
Yeah, not a lot, but I cranked up some stuff and realized, yeah, probably should have stuck with the defaults. I've got it going probably 15% faster than out of the box, and
Yeah.
that seems to be pretty good. I ran a print the other day, and I've got a dry box with little holes on the side for filament to come out, and they've got a switch on them. So if you run out of filament, little alarm goes off.
Mm-hmm.
And I started a print, took a nap, hear the alarm going off, and the print finishes like 2 minutes later. I've got 2 inches of filament sticking out of the side of the ender. Like, oh, perfect.
Yeah. I was messing with the new printer because it's got a if you're using the ACE, the multi-filament box, it's got a setting
Mhm.
that it's supposed to automatically switch to a different filament if you run out, so it
Really?
doesn't stop. It didn't work right. I purposely put filament in so that it would run out, and it pulled it through the tube, and then it purged everything that was there, and then it told me that the filament was out to put filament in, and I'm like, wait, you've already got filament. There's a whole box full of filament. Just switch and use a different filament. Because I thought that's what that switch was supposed to do. Apparently, that switch just alerts you that it's out of filament and to put different filament back in. I guess so
Oops.
you could keep the same color, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm like, what a that's not at all what I was expecting because I wanted to do some large prints and then walk away. And if it ran out of filament, I just wanted to do it. I just wanted to switch.
I don't know how to go about doing that, but yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. So, well, there should be a way to do it. And I found a setting which I did not see. So apparently I've gotten a firmware update that I didn't know about. But I found a setting in there that says something about AI. Use AI settings. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to mess my printer with AI or not. I'm getting good prints. I don't know if I want to screw around with AI on my printer.
Yeah, I would have had to
So,
have said no.
so you can't roll back to the previous version of the software?
Um,
Not
so
easily usually.
the enders actually were very easy to change the the firmware on. Once you get used to how they want it done. Um, this connects to the Wi-Fi and it just gets its updates over the Wi-Fi. The last time it did it, it told me it was going to do it. So maybe that setting was in the last update that it did, and I just didn't notice it. But I don't remember seeing that setting. So,
So these updates happen automatically? You don't have
mhm.
any control over them?
I could tell it no, but eventually it's just going to keep bugging me every time I turn the machine on. So there's no
Hmm.
way to there's no way to say no permanently to something. Um, you can go on their website and they will tell you what the updates do or whatever. But usually the last two updates that I've gotten have been for the Ace box. And I only saw right after I plugged the machine in, um, right after I got it on Wi-Fi, then I got an update for the firmware in the machine, which I figured was probably okay. Um, it seemed to fix some issues that other people were having with the machine. I've never had the issues that people said they had with this machine. Um, but usually I see firmware updates for the Ace box, and I'm like, what kind of firmware could that box have? But it's got auto detect, tangle tangle detect, and some other stuff built into it. And it also does the RFID tags for their branded filament. So my guess is that they're when they push an update, they're pushing new RFID tags for different filaments. That they're not making a whole lot of changes to the how that thing actually works. They're updating some file somewhere that says, this temperature for this filament and that temperature for that filament and that sort of stuff. But, you know, I don't, when I first turned this machine on, I didn't connect it to the Wi-Fi at all. And I played with it and played with it and played with it. And I do not remember seeing anything about AI. So the, the update, the one update that I did for the firmware may have added some sort of AI setting to it. But I don't know if I want my machine to tell me stuff. So, all right. We are at Westchester next week. Next week's the 3rd, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be, yeah.
We're at Westchester next week, so
Full time?
5 to 7.
Okay.
It's the one in May that is a little screwy. And then the 2 in May are a little off, and 1 in June is a little off. So I will remind everybody in May or just before May.
When
That's
are
the
you
time.
going back to Mason?
Mason is May 8th. That was the
Okay.
soonest I could get that one.
Well, they were booked for the other times?
Yeah, kind of weird when the librarian told me that people rarely use that room, and I go
Oh,
and I
that's
check
strange.
and it's booked. I'm like, okay. But so April 3rd, we're at Westchester. Oh wait, what did I do? I need to check this. April 3rd, we're at Westchester. April 10th, we're at Mason.
Yep.
That makes more
Okay.
sense. And then I bet the second week in May we're at Midpoint, and I just wrote it wrong. Keeping up with all this is kind of, it's a challenge sometimes. May 1st, May 8th. I think we're in what I'll double check that, but I bet we're in Westchester both of those days. And then June 5th and June 12th we're in Westchester. The times in May are a little screwy, but we'll just deal with it.
Yep.
Um,
Well, I received in the mail, and it's about to expire Sunday, a coupon for Micro Center for 128 flash drive. Do you guys are interested in any of those, or not worth the effort to go down there and pick them up?
uh, I mean, if we were down there, I would do it, but I don't know if I'm want to drive to Westchester just for a free flash drive.
Well, that's the reason I asked. Uh, the little coupon that came in the mail, or little card, said it was a $13.50 value. And I thought, well,
No, it isn't.
no, they're giving it away free.
It's a decent flash drive, but yeah, it's. Do you already have 27 flash drives?
Yes.
Well, I don't know whether it's 27, 28, 23. I've got more than I need. That should be the criteria, I suppose, is whether it's free or not.
Yeah.
128's pretty good size.
Yeah.
Problem with big flash drives is if you actually need one that's that big, you don't have the time to let it write that much.
Yeah.
Was,
This
it only takes like an hour and a half.
there's that's the last free flash drive that you gave me, Mike, right there.
Uh,
And I'm pretty sure that it's sitting empty. I'm pretty sure there's nothing on that drive.
I remember spending like 150 some bucks for my 256 gig. Well, the office did, but
so I won't go to any extraordinary measures to get the freebie to anybody in the meeting. If I'm down there, I'll pick up one for myself and The other one, I'll find a customer going in and hand it to them.
Let's say, when's it expire?
Sunday.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah, I spent too much there this week already.
Well, amazingly enough, there is actually stuff on this flash drive. Writing data to the drive. Do not unplug. It is now safe to unplug. No, it's not. The light is still flashing. Now it's safe to unplug.
They haven't given me a freebie one of those in a long time.
I almost all my flash drives come from Micro Center, but I use the 32 gig more than I use the 128. So
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
have
like
no idea what their schedule is. It seems like they arrive in the mail, the coupons or cards at random. I know, can't figure out how they picked me or why or when they decided to mail them.
yeah.
I
Well,
think I got a 256 or a 120, whatever the purple ones are. It's my Vin toy with all the ISOs on it.
Bentoy is so sweet.
Coolest tool
Bentoy,
ever.
Bentoy. On a 32 gig, there's which actually holds quite a bit of ISOs on it.
I almost always do Ventoy as 3 partitions because you can put scripts and stuff on the third partition and read it from any of the ISOs you boot.
Right.
Good idea.
So I will go and I will verify the May thing. I don't think I would have scheduled Mason until we tested it a second time, but for some reason I wrote Mason, so
We'll find out.
I will make sure that I fix that. But otherwise, it's after 7, and I'm sure that there's going to be food somewhere for somebody.
Dinner.
So
I
I will
think we're
see
doing chili.
Yeah, I will hopefully see y'all next week down
Yep.
in Westchester.
Sounds good.
Okay, take care. Have a good week.
You
Later,
too.
gang.
We'll see you later.
Take care.
Adios.